Briefly, we need you to explain something to us. Why are you recollating when your law that does not allow that?
Samson, thank you again for this opportunity. When you look at CI 127, Regulation 43, it specifies the procedure to follow. The 43 starts by saying that you should each candidate is supposed to have 2 agents for the collation when it comes to the parliamentary elections. Very, very important. And from there, it lists the procedures to be followed. And what the Commission has said very clearly is that in terms of our collation, all these processes were not followed. So literally, the collation we expect to take place in some of these places, they actually didn't take place. And once what they did was inconsistent with CI 127, Regulation 43, then the Commission has the responsibility to ensure that all the things that were done which were not proper are corrected.
What are some of the things? What are some of the things that were done which are not proper?
What?
Some of the things which were. What are some of the things which were done that are not proper, for which you have to recollate?
For example, in one of the constituencies, I think it's either Okaikwe Central. The declaration was done per the CI. It talks about you put together all the polling station results for each of the polling stations, and you do the collation. In that particular constituency, for example, if my memory serves right, they have almost 141 polling stations. The declaration was done based on either 110 or 111. So literally about 30 polling stations results were not part of the declaration. Apart from that, we also have reports of, I know you've seen the report by our Tema district officer, where the declaration was done even at the Tema Regional Police Command, and it was not even done by the person accredited by the Commission to do that. Apart from that, there are other places where it was done at a knife point. So the steps indicated in the law were not followed. And the Commission strongly believes that once those things were not followed, then it wasn't the collation we had expected our officers to do. And I wanted to add that in terms of the selection of the collation centers too, all these things were done in consultation with the Ghana Police Administration.
Okay,
so example,
but you hold on, just hold on there for me. Just hold on.
Selected in consultation.
Yes, Dr. Sari, hold on. So this is the same CI 127 that was used for the 2020 elections, correct?
Yes, please. Yes.
When the NDC made a complaint about Techiman South in 2020, your reply was that once it has been done, it cannot be done again. They should go to court.
Yes, something.
Why has that changed?
No, I think something. The contexts are so different. Let's put things in perspective. In Techiman, our officers, the returning officers, our district officers, they did their work. And when they finished, we received a report from them. And the report that came to us and upon our further investigation indicated that they followed the procedure specified in law. In what we are witnessing now, the reports from our officers are completely different from what occurred in Techiman. And as an institution, we think that let's do the right. Once we do the right thing and people are, let me make something clear. We don't care about the outcome of the election. We don't care who is winning here, who is winning there. What we care about is to protect the integrity of the process. And that process has been clearly specified in law. So the Commission has that responsibility to ensure that all the right things specified in the law, they are done. In Techiman, the report that came to us was very, very clear. In this instance, it's not the same. Okay. That's why I was asking the question whether you've chanced on the report by our district officer.
Okay,
you can see clearly different from what transpired in Techiman.
Okay. Are you, in your list of the constituencies that you have to recollate, Damango is not one of them, right?
No, Damango is not one of them.
Why not?
Damango, I need to, there was a problem there. And the Commission instructed the regional director to take over. So once the commission instructed, the regional director was empowered by the commission to do the needful, and that was actually done.
Okay, so the regional director took the place of the returning officer to do the declaration?
Because the commission authorized the regional director to do so.
Okay. You mentioned Tema Central.
Yes.
The person who did it is a returning officer, but from Tema West, is that it?
Oh, that's not right. It's not a returning officer for Tema West.
But who is he?
It's a staff of the Electoral Commission, but not a returning officer.
Okay, so he's not empowered to do a declaration?
He's not empowered to do a declaration. Apart from he not being empowered to do a declaration, where the declaration took place, the processes, it talks about having two agents, putting all the results together. All those processes were not followed. In
Tesano, where you are putting the results together and having the declaration done, is it being done by the constituency returning officers for those constituencies?
Yes, please. We have all the constituency returning officers. So I think 3 days ago we did Fantia Pamnof. Apart from Fantia Pamnof, we had Suhum and Akutia. And Sawam became, but they couldn't complete.
So the NDC has faulted these processes that you are going through because it points to the fact that you cannot point to any portion of the law that empowers you as a commission to change the rules midway the way you are doing them by authorizing a director to do the declaration.
I've just indicated that CI 127 Regulation 43, which is about...
No, I know Regulation 43.
Everything is there.
Regulation 43 is just about the returning officer and his duties. My question is, if you ask a director to do it, you ask a director in Damango to do the declaration on what authority, which law? That's what they want to know. They want to know on which law we... Because it is the returning officer who has to do it. So why do you ask a director there to do it?
At the time, the returning officer was incapacitated. I think you heard our office in Damango was bent down.
Mm-hmm.
The returning officer was incapacitated. We were told he was hospitalized in one of the hospitals in Tamale, and the process had to continue. And it's the same thing we are doing in Tesano. What came to us was that the constituency collation centers were not conducive for the process to continue. Mm-hmm. So in consultation with the Ghana Police Service, and for security purposes, it was agreed that let's come to Tesano where the police can assure us of security.
The accusation you face now, the allegation you face now is that by the processes so far, what the NDC believes has already been declared, you are now overturning them in favor of the NPP, when you could simply say that you could simply repeat what you said to the NDC in 2020, that if any NPP person is aggrieved by the declaration, whether it was done under duress, whether it was done by someone who is not an officer, whatever it is, they must go to court, because court is the only place to resolve that issue. You are not doing that, and therefore you seem to be supporting, aiding the NPP to gain more seats.
I think I made an earlier point that the Electoral Commission as an institution doesn't care who wins presidential, who wins parliamentary. That's not part of our mandate. Our mandate is to ensure that the processes leading to the election of the president, the processes leading to the election of our parliamentarians, they follow what have been specified in law. So for the Electoral Commission, we have sworn an oath to do that. So what we are basically saying is that so far out of the 12 which the commissioner said we'll be looking at, that means 12 from the 276, that's 264 or so. All of them, we've never had any complaints. But for this particular one, now, I think something, I don't know if you saw in one of the footages, I don't know if it's either Bl0w North or even Okankwe Central. You saw members of a particular party holding the return officer say this, say that, and what the commission is saying is that once those processes are not followed, that is not declaration in the work of the Electoral Commission. So we believe that let the right things be done. Once we do the right things and anyone
right. So now you have been.
You can use the legal process.
Now you have been compelled. Now you have been compelled. Now you have been compelled to halt the process.
Yes.
So what do we do with the rest?
No, we'll come back to them. We'll come back to them. So as far as we are concerned, those other places, no MP has been selected because and no collation has been completed over there. So those are, and as we speak now, we don't know who has won even in these places. We are going to put everything together, and that's the process which started, I think, about 3 days ago, and three of them were completed.
Including
the others are still
including in Sawam, including in Sawam, where you have been you have been served with an injunction application.
I have not seen anything like that, and I was at the office yesterday. I didn't see any injunction application, and I don't think there is a judge who has granted any injunction application against the East.
Yeah, the injunction applications, when they are served on you on notice, they don't have to be granted. You have to stop until it has been heard. Otherwise, you would have overreached the court.
That's your opinion. So we also engage our lawyers, and they will let us know what the commission.
It's not my opinion. It is the law, and the EC has followed this in previous circumstances.
So we'll get a word from our lawyers about it.
Okay. All right.
I heard one of your panelists talking about EC being responsible for election security. I want to place it on record that the EC is not in charge of security when it comes to elections.
No,
we are not part of a police deployment plan. They don't tell us what they do. Everything about security rests with the Ghana Police Service. And
right, that matter has been resolved. My brief question for you for a brief answer before you go is the Peace Council is seeking to promote mediation, call it arbitration, whatever. Use ADR processes. Are you amenable to those, or you will simply go ahead after you have announced you halted, you simply go ahead because you believe that you are doing the right thing?
Oh, no, the commission is amenable to anything that will ensure the integrity, protecting the integrity of our process. And you know, as I said, the law is very, very clear. And you know, we don't live in a jungle where those who are powerful may decide to do whatever they like. Our processes are embedded in law. And the commission doesn't want to set any precedent which in the future will come back to bite all of us as a country. And we think that once the laws, any process that will lead to ensuring that the laws governing our elections are followed, we are ready. And we as an institution, we don't exist for ourselves. We are there for the people of Ghana. So whatever law mandating our work, we will ensure that we apply them according to the letter.
All right, thank you.
No, before thank you.
Hold on. Before you go, Kofi Adams has a question.
Before you go, clearly, Dr. Bosman, yesterday you sat to the left of Mr. Tete, your colleague, the deputy chair for the commission, when he addressed the press conference. And at that press conference, even at a point, you sought to provide him with information to use, where you suggested that if 2 polling stations were added, it was going to even change he ignored that. He mentioned clearly in that press conference that the declaration that was done in Tema Central was done by Tema West returning officer. Now you are suggesting something different. Is the EC truly prepared? Please.
I work at the Electoral Commission. I'm speaking on authority.
And I'm saying that
the one you are saying is not the returning officer.
I am asking a question.
The permanent staff of the Electoral Commission.
Dr. Bosman Asari, yesterday you addressed a press conference. The information you put out yesterday is what I'm speaking to. 2, you also claim that and quoted Regulation 43. Yes, agents must be present. But you should also advertise your mind to Regulation 48, especially 2, that says the absence, listen to this, Regulation 48.2, the non-attendance of the candidate or the polling agent or counting agent of the candidate at the time and place shall not invalidate the act or thing done. So the mere fact that Regulation 43 talks about who qualifies to be present, their absence at a gazetted location for collation does not invalidate the process. So you are completely wrong. You same commissioner. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Let me make it clear. We don't gazette.
And I'm saying that. Let me finish. Let me finish. You advertise them.
When agents are not there, it does not invalidate. But
SHS, we await the outcome of your policies. Mr. Speaker, we are aware that this incoming government is going to implement this Nkukwo Nkete policy. The Nkukwo Nkete is a social intervention program. We are going to welcome it. But you say you are going to reduce taxes. You are going to repeal the betting tax, the e-levy. You are going to repeal all these taxes. You are going to reduce the taxes at the ports. We wonder where you get the money to implement the Nkukwo Nkete. We are waiting. Mr. Speaker, these are on a lighter note. But Mr. Speaker, clearly, this is a time for us to reflect, particularly those of us getting into opposition. Indeed, no party can run a perfect government in this country. When you get into government, whilst you are happy to implement your policies, you are likely to make some mistakes. We concede that some mistakes were made. We concede that we couldn't have done everything perfect. The people have spoken, we've accepted it. But Mr. Speaker, the coming days and years will reveal the true colors of this umbrella. And the elephant will be watching keenly in this chamber. Mr. Speaker, this House looks forward to a leadership that will keep us going and keep the lights on in this chamber. Mr. Speaker, let me commend you for the 4 years of your leadership in this House. Mr. Speaker, we may have our disagreements, but it is obvious that members' welfare have been key to your leadership. Nobody can take it away from you. Mr. Speaker, the institutional empowerment you've given to Parliament is equal to none. It's likely because, Mr. Speaker, we had you as a speaker coming from within. Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether you are being retained or a new person is going to be appointed. But I pray that if they decide, Mr. Speaker, if they sack you, Mr. Speaker, of all that you've done for them, they are going to sack you. Of all that Mr. Speaker has done for you, you are going to sack Mr. Speaker. We will see. Mr. Speaker, if they decide to retain you, I know Parliament is going to benefit. But should they decide to retire you, Mr. Speaker, they can do it. They can do it. They are unpredictable. They can do it. If they decide to retain you, the happiness of this House will gather further momentum. However, if the new government decides to bring a new speaker, that speaker should come from within. We don't want an outsider. We want somebody from within who would understand us. But Mr. Speaker, having said that, we have some major government business outstanding that I would want to encourage colleagues that within the few days and weeks left, we should do everything possible to deal with these government business so that we can say that it is indeed finished. Mr. Speaker, there are also some important welfare matters that I would want to pledge to my colleagues, that together with my colleague Dr. Casey Latofosen, who by virtue of his position in the transitional arrangement so far, I know he would understand the need to cooperate to ensure the happiness of members. I cannot foresee members being happy to do the rest of government business when we've not dealt with the issues of welfare. Mr. Speaker, these matters must be attended to. Members have projects outstanding in their constituencies. We need to together work and ensure that statutory funds that are outstanding are released so that members can continue their projects, hand them over, especially those who are leaving us. Mr. Speaker, to colleagues who could not make it, there's a better day tomorrow. Do not give up. The Frenchman will say, c'est la vie. This is life. There are good days and bad days. If you lost, get back to the people and